Welcome back everyone to another episode from Ampro Engineering. This is the Traxxas Unlimited Desert Racer, and we're going to do a very quick upgrade to this vehicle. It's going to be cosmetic, but it's something that I wanted to address early on. So the wheels that this truck comes with are glued to the tires, and they're an interesting style, which I think Traxxas has had for some time now. We have a smaller diameter wheel that's visible cosmetically. And if you flip it over, you have a much larger diameter wheel. Now this does allow you to have a more robust hub than something of this size would. So it's an interesting little design, but as you can tell by all the glossiness here, it is heavily glued on both sides from the factory. This means if you want to change the rims on this truck, you're going to either have to buy new tires or boil these and get the glue to melt and hopefully off the rims without damaging the tires too much. There is an alternative though. I have designed these little adapters. Let's go ahead and zoom into the wheel. So this little adapter, I'm actually going to call it a hubcap, just drops straight onto the wheel, just like that. And of course, once we paint it, it'll look much better. But what it's going to do is give the wheel a new appearance. Now, if you do look through the spokes, you will see the original wheel, but the good news is it is black. This is going to have charcoal as well as aluminum paint. So it should technically offset everything. And I went ahead and left the intersection open because I do like the way that the lug nuts are visible on the factory wheel. So I'll take advantage of that. I did print these using a Stratasys PolyJet printer, which you do have access to on Shapeways. But if you are going to buy these from my mini factory, it probably is best to use a resin printer. I cannot imagine that a PLA printer will have the appropriate tolerance to actually take advantage of this. What you're not seeing is that the thickness between this leading edge right here and this back round is about 1/2 millimeter. In fact, if you hold this up to the light, you can see that it's transparent, even though this is a Vero black opaque plastic. The beauty is you have to just print out 6 of these very, very thin, small little cosmetic discs and place them on all of the 6 wheels of the vehicle instead of having to buy new tires, new rims, and so on. The first thing I'm going to do here is shoot these with a coat of primer and then paint them with a coat of cast coat iron. I enjoy using Duplicolor automotive paints. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so let's do a light coat of primer. I use an automotive grade primer, just like that. We don't need but too much because you don't want to cover up any of the details. Now that the primer is dry, I'm going to go over that with cast coat aluminum. It's like a charcoal. It has a little hint of copper in it. I really like this color. It takes several light coats. I won't waste your time on this, but I'll do a single coat here. And the reason I want to do light coats is I don't want to clog any of the details. And this is an automotive paint, so it does tend to come out a little bit thicker than you would normally want for something of this scale. After the paint is cured, this is how it's going to look, just one color, but this was designed with all these embossed features to allow us to easily paint it. So this is what we're going to come out with when we're done. This is only one pass, so you can see that there's some areas that you have to go over, but let's go ahead and show you what I've done. My recommendation is to use a marker. The reason being is that the marker will allow the paint to glide over these features here so that the paint doesn't actually get into the recesses. So the bead lock will actually have the screw appear to have a little bit more depth. Paint that on top, and that's just about what you're going to get. If you are anal about this, you definitely can go over these with some black paint to make this little area stand out significantly more. Right, so the way we're going to do this is to run the paint pen like that, and you want to get the outsides, okay, just like that. And then we'll make our way around in that same fashion. Of course, you can do this any way you want. This is just the way that seems to work fine for me. And the same is going to be true of the perimeter. I want to go around it this way to give us a nice hard edge. And on the inside, we'll do the same thing, just like this. Flip it around. Just like that. And then on the inside surface, this opening, we'll do the same thing and just give that a nice coat. We'll do that. Blow dab on all of the screws along that perimeter as well. And of course, on the outside. And that ultimately is what you're going to get. Do some detail work when the paint is cured, but that's what we'll have. Once that's all done, I'm going to go ahead and do a matte clear over all of this. I've gone ahead and painted the perimeter with matte black as well to help mask any of the red should there be any bleed. Once this is done, we'll install the hubcap. The hubcaps have been matte clear coated, and now we can go ahead and install them. And to do that, I'm going to use shoe glue. This stuff works really well because a little bit goes quite a long way. So we'll just take a little glob here on the front of the screwdriver and also get it accidentally on the back of my hand. We'll just take that and just run a couple little dabs around the perimeter. You don't have to go crazy with this. Sorry, I'm probably getting it messier than it should be, but it's because I'm doing this through the camera here. All right, and that should be more than enough. I put a couple little dabs right on the front here as well. Just like that. And then we'll just take the hubcap and just squash it in there. Give it a couple hours to dry and you're done. I went ahead and did all 6 of the wheels and I'm quite pleased with how they look. You know, nothing too spectacular. They came out all right. Definitely not as good as what an actual complete wheel would be, because if you do look very, very closely, you can see that the old wheel resides behind it. But I think in terms of cost, this was the way to go. What I did end up doing is I added some more of the shoe goo on the back of the hubcap. If you are going to bash the truck, I would say go a little heavier on the shoe goo, but otherwise this should be a pretty good option for you. I will make some different rims in the future, but at this time here, I do want to get this project going. So I do want to thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.